there that they use it here here on the West Coast?
The N word, nigga. When, because obviously we use it as a term of I hate that we use it as a term of endearment. That's all I'm gonna say. But back in the 70s, who used that word and how did you guys use it? You know what I mean? Like in the black community, meaning not the white folks calling us that, but how was that word used in the black community in the 60s and 70s?
If you if another black man referred to you as a nigga, you was probably country or just backwards or just did some dumb stuff. And I ain't gonna say you was a pariah, but you was more of a damn, you're making us look bad type thing. Okay. You know, you do nigga stuff. Okay. My daddy always told me, don't nigger up your car. What you mean, Dad? Don't be putting all that loud stuff on your car. Because he had certain things that you had to maintain a certain level of decor when you do stuff, you know. Don't be dressing all niggerish. Huh? What you mean, Daddy? All them crazy ass colors and, you know, and different things my old man told me not to do. And that's something I never did. I like colorful shirts, but again, it was always done tastefully. But yeah, that was a term that defined. I think it was like a class thing back in the day. Being called a nigga by another black man, it was a class thing. You ever see Soldier Story with Denzel Washington?
Wow, yes, dude, that's so creepy. I was literally just thinking about that earlier. Yes, I have. Continue.
That's why the sergeant killed homeboy playing the guitar because he felt he was a nigger. Okay, you setting us back. I speak good English. You speaking all country, and you playing guitar, and you dancing and singing the blues, and you making us look bad. And that was a cultural thing, you know, just like you know, it was city versus country back then. You know, if you moved to up north and got out of the country and came back down south after you worked in one of them factories or something with a nice suit, a nice car, the Klan might rob. They might jack you. Your people might hate on you because you didn't change. Now, the same thing we're dealing with right now. You didn't change. Now, got your little old city factory job. You ain't working in the fields no more. You're driving that deuce and a quarter. Okay, you think you're somebody special. Okay, go on, eat these pig feet and leave me alone. That kind of shit.
Man,
you still eat chitlins, nigga.
Smoke G says they use the N word on Good Times and Sanford and Son occasionally in the 70s.
They did.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, but think about the incidents too. Okay, I think James might have called somebody a nigga, but he did something to JJ or somebody. Fred Sanford, the same thing. You had to earn that. It wasn't a comment. It wasn't just thrown around, but it was like somebody did something super stupid for them to call them. Now, I'm going to look that up. But you're right. You're absolutely right. But it was a whole different, you know, it was an inter-class thing that people of that time had that kind of let you know that, yeah, in some ways, I think I'm better than you, or you're not as well educated as I am. I went to the 5th grade. You only went to kindergarten. That kind of shit. Okay.
You know, let's talk about 70s TV, which fascinates me from a historical standpoint. Now, shows like Archie Bunker, shows like George Jefferson would never fly in 2022. We already know that. But take yourself back to the 70s. I'm curious to know what you, as a black man, were you offended at Archie Bunker and things he was saying, or did you get the joke? Because at the end of the day, the joke was on him. The whole story was really, the joke was on him. Did you, as a black man back in the 70s, did you even pay attention? Did you even watch that show?
I watched it with my dad because back then we only had like one TV in the house. Might have had two, but back then we spent a lot more time as a family in front of the TV collectively. My mom and dad would laugh. We just looked like most of the time we didn't get it. Okay, but when George would cap back on Archie, we got that for some reason. We understood that, okay? And my daddy thought, my daddy had worked with guys like Archie Bunker. So he was used to, he was used to how those guys thought and acted. And to see somebody on television like George Jefferson, or whoever else were able to cap back on them and, you know, put them in their place, make them look stupid. It made him feel good.
Because once again, there was only what 3 or 5, maybe 7 channels, you know, at back then. So for a show like The Jeffersons, a black show where this dude is moving on up to the east side, you know, he's high strutting and all that. Did that bring some sort of pride to our people, or were we just like struggling in our own shit that we didn't even care, or did it get us away for 30 minutes? Like, what do you remember about The Jeffersons?
The Jeffersons were pretty cool, man, for a minute, but people didn't like the way George kissed up to the white folks. You know, but then they liked the way he threw him out of his house. If they didn't do what he wanted, he'd throw him out the house. You know, he was quick to pucker up because, you know, I know guys like that. They pucker up, okay? They pucker up. Hey, I love you, whoop, 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 whoop. But then, you know, don't do something that don't come correct or say something disrespectful. Oh, hold on. Let me, you know. Don't get it twisted. All right. And I think that was probably the thing about George. George would stand up for himself, although he would kiss some ass, but he would stand up for himself too, though. You know, that kind of thing. He kiss ass in a minute, and he's prepared to kiss some ass. But then he would either Louise or Florence or somebody would yank his chain and bring him back around.
Okay. You know what I'm seeing in the comments? A lot of people are mentioning the quotes when the N-word was dropped in those shows. Sanford and Son used it. Season 4, episode 1, when Fred comes home from St. Louis drunk, he calls Rolo the N-word. So that kind of makes sense. He was drunk. And then James, the dad from Good Times, used it in a bar scene.
Okay, was they about to have a fight or something, or?
That sounds about right. Probably acting like
James wasn't no punk. James had never kissed nobody's ass. He's always he was never no punk. That's why he left the show. He wasn't going for it.
You know the story behind that, right, James? So the actor who played him, or the real person behind that, he was no chump in Hollywood, and he didn't play by certain rules. I understand.
And they killed him off. You know,
damn.
They wanted to build a show around JJ as opposed to the family. You know, they wanted to focus on Jimmy Walker and the goofy character. And James like, man, me and Florence both got theater experience. This goofy, and he was something that's funny in real life. I think JJ is damn near as old as he was almost as old as James John Amos in real life. Okay, it's only a few years apart, but he's playing his son. But he's playing this. They want to focus more on the goofy kid, and they're like, nah, man. Nah, I'm not gonna play second to this kind of character. And they found it. He got killed.
Damn. And that kind of sounds like they wanted to, in some way, portray what America sees black folks as. This J.J. Walker, dynamite type of guy, huh?
Right. That was we saw a lot of that back in the 70s, man. I guess they was trying to make Good Times more black exploitation.